अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। कृष्णो रक्षतु नो जगत्त्रय गुरुः कृष्णं नमस्याम्यहम्। कृष्णे नामरशत्रवो विनिहताः कृष्णाय तस्मै नमः। कृष्णादेव समुत्थितं जगदिदं कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे तिष्ठति सर्वमेतदखिलं हे कृष्ण संरक्ष माम्। Jai Srinarayana. Today we will start with Shloka 31 in chapter 13. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Please chant. Anaditvat nirgunatvat
Anaditvat
Anaditvat nirgunatvat
Paramatmayamavyayah
Paramatma
Paramatmayamavyayah
Sarirasthopi Kaunteya
Sharirasthopi kaunteya
Nakaroti nalipyate.
Nakaroti nalipyate
Let's chant together.
Anaditvat nirgunatvat Paramatmayamavyayah Sharirasthopi kaunteya Nakaroti nalipyate.
So we learned in the previous shlokas who is the real doer, who is the agent of actions. Is it the body or the Kshetrajna?
Yeah.
The doer of, the agent of actions is the body only. Kshetrajna is experiencing the results, but or effects of those actions. But the agent of actions is Prakriti only, right? That is the previous shloka that we learned.
Yes.
29. Whoever sees all actions are being done by Prakriti alone, and likewise sees the Atma as not the agent, that person really sees. The one who has the real knowledge. Okay, so all actions are done by Prakriti alone. Atma is not the agent, and Atma's association with Prakriti is basically making it experience the effects of those actions or the results of those actions in terms of the karmic. It is acquiring the karmic bondage, right? So here in Shloka 31, there is, Lord Krishna is giving due to this he's saying, okay, Anaditvat Nirgunatvat. Anadi means because of, that is having no beginning, right? Anadi, na adi is having no beginning. Nirgunatvat, nirguna, because of having, nirguna means having no qualities. So, but here basically it is talking about not having the qualities that are related to Prakriti. Okay, so Anadi and Nirguna are referring to who? Paramatma. So that is not the body, right? So we'll see what is Paramatma referred here. So Anadi, having no beginning, okay, due to having no beginning and due to having no qualities that are related to Prakriti, which is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Atma doesn't have them. This Paramatma, I am Paramatma. Okay, so here is Paramatma referring to God or the self?
Atma, self.
Self, right? Perfect. I mean, this is where there's a lot of confusion that got created. And actually, I explained in all these lokas the reasoning behind why it is only why Paramatma, Ishvara, Parameshwara, all these are referring to Kshetrajna only. Kshetrajna means a self, Atma, us, right? Not the God, not God. I've explained in the text, but we'll go through that. So this, it is referring to us only. This entire chapter is basically Kshetra is body. Kshetrajna is the one who is in the body, who is the one who is utilizing the body. Just like a farmer who is utilizing the body. A farmer who is utilizing a field in order to grow some crops and then, for his living, whatever is needed, he's able to grow them in that field and eat it, right? So like that, Kshetrajna is the one who is utilizing the Kshetra. Kshetrajna is the one who is inside the Kshetra and using the Kshetra for a particular purpose, right? So that is us only. God doesn't have to be, he doesn't need a Kshetra in order to do whatever he wants to do, right? So it is us only, and it is very clear in all the slokas. So here it is referring to Paramatma. So why it is called Paramatma, again we explained earlier, is because it is supreme compared to the body, right? So it is greater than the body. It is, we learned all the qualities of Atma compared to the body. And obviously, the Atma is much more, is supreme compared to the body. Body is perishable, Atma is not. And, starting from there, right? We know the differences in second chapter as well as in 13th chapter. It was very clearly mentioned what is the Swarupa, nature of Atma, and what is body, what does it contain, and all that we learned in 13th chapter. So Paramatma here is referring to the self. So even though, Sarirasthahapi, okay, even though it is inside the body, residing inside the body, okay, na karoti na lipyate, it is not performing any actions, right? It is not acting, or it is not the agent of actions. Na lipyate, it is not tainted. Okay, so because it is having no beginning, and because it is having no gunas that are related to Prakriti, Nirgunatvat, Anaditvat, Nirgunatvat, okay, Paramatma, this Atma, or self, or Purusha, or Kshetrajna, Jivatma, all are synonymous. It is Avyayaha, it is not perishable, and even though it is present in the body, Sarirasthahapi, na karoti na lipyate, it is not doing any actions, na lipyate, it is not being tainted. Okay.
Can you please explain me some more about lipyate?
Yeah. So basically, Atma is not getting corrupted. See, in our body, in the body, right? We are there, right? Atma is in its pure form is there.
Oh, okay. So we are saying it won't take any attachments or any things like that, it will stay on its own
Yeah.
purified form.
Yeah, it is. It will stay in its purified form only, but it is covered with the karmic bondage.
Okay.
It has. Imagine like we are pure as is. There's nothing getting into us to taint us.
Mm-hmm.
Atma is the subtlest of the subtlest. I mean, we can think of, right? I mean, that's a within Atma, Paramatma exists, but beyond that, nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Paramatma is there in the entire universe. We, the Atma, is also his body. That he is a Paramatma for the Atma. He is Atma for the Atma.
Mm-hmm.
So even our Atma cannot function unless Paramatma, God, is inside and then giving the energy, right? So Paramatma is inside us. So God is inside us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, we are pure, 100%. Nothing corrupted us, even though we are going from one body to another body. Okay? The body could be filthy body or the clean body, weak body or very strong body, perfect or having so many problems, whatever may be the body. Okay, you know the Atma or Jivatma or Purusha inside that body is pure, right? Nothing corrupted. And one of the see, how can we say is like if something has to corrupt it, it has to enter, right? Nothing can enter Atma. It cannot be cut. It cannot decay. It isn't it? So we learned all those qualities of Atma. Atma is very subtle, right? Very small, whatever we can think of. Okay, it's actually form of knowledge, right? That's what we learned in certain chapter. So it's in knowledge form. That is in its pure form in all bodies. And in one of the previous slokas, Lord Krishna very clearly said that we can actually get liberated from any body. Like I could be in this body and I can get liberated. Okay, that means what? I'm in its pure form, perfect form in this body also, isn't it? If let us say it got corrupted, then I will not be able to get liberated from this body, isn't it? If something happened to the Atma. So Atma is not tainted at all. So we kind of think that if you see, let us say an insect, right? We immediately think maybe the Atma inside that insect is corrupted or tainted because we see the body. And then we think, oh, maybe that got corrupted or tainted or smeared. It got, uh, maybe it's decaying. So that's what we kind of think because we get our ignorance or lack of knowledge will think that whatever is associated with the body, we associate with the self also. That's why Lord Krishna is very, very clearly indicating here that Atma is not tainted at all. Okay, it is covered by the karmic bondage. It is experiencing whatever it is supposed to experience. It is taking birth from one body, taking births in different bodies, but by itself it is not getting corrupted, not decaying at all. So see, Anaditvat and Avyaya should go together. Okay, and Avyaya means it is imperishable, right? So If it is having no beginning, that means it must be imperishable also, isn't it? See,
Yes.
if let us say, you um, uh, like some vegetables we cut from the tree, and then now we keep it outside. It starts
Perishing,
decay.
they will perish after
Yeah,
some
after
days.
some time. So it slowly decays, and then afterwards it will vanish. I mean, it will get separated into the pieces. I mean, the matter is neither created nor destroyed. That's another principle, right? So it probably changed its form into some other elements that we cannot see. Okay, so then if it has to come again, then it has another beginning. It must be having a beginning. If it is anadi, then it is imperishable. There is no beginning, so there
No
it must
ending.
having no end. So it is there forever. And nirgunatvat is associated with nakaroti nalipyat. Nakaroti. So why? Because in the previous lokas he mentioned that the agent of actions is
Body.
prakriti, body. Body is part of the prakriti, or getting the qualities from the prakriti. So the body is the one that is doing the actions, influenced by the prakriti, the gunas of the prakriti. So because Atma does not have those qualities, even though it is present in the body, okay, it doesn't act by itself. It doesn't act. It's not the agent of actions. And even though it is present in an inferior body, it is not getting corrupted by that body. Okay.
I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
You said like God is within Jivatma, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but the Jivatma is not equivalent to God.
Right. I mean, so equivalent in the so Jivatma in its pure form has the knowledge equivalent to Paramatma. So that's what Paramatma is clearly, very clearly mentioned, that you will achieve the same state as mine. Okay. So Paramatma is the one who is supporting even the Atmas and the entire Prakriti. Okay. In its pure form, we are, the knowledge is equivalent to Paramatma. Okay, but doesn't mean that we will become Paramatma.
Right.
Not but, it is, we are not going to become Paramatma. It's very clear. So Lord Krishna very, very clearly said, you will achieve Mama Sadharmyam Agataha. So you will achieve the same state as mine, or equivalent state as mine. Okay?
Right.
But we will not be independent. We will still be dependent on Paramatma, no matter where we are. Okay. Whether we are in this loka or in, wherever, whichever loka it is, whichever world it is. Okay, we are always dependent on Paramatma, and we are doing service to him only. Like equivalent to Paramatma means like we don't expect others to come and serve us, or we don't start creating the worlds. It is Paramatma only who does that, but we will be in a state where we are equivalent to Paramatma in knowledge, unharmed, infinite, basically unobstructed knowledge. Today we are having the obstructed knowledge. We have the same, when we say that we are pure in this body also. However, the knowledge is not letting us, it's not coming out of this body. Okay. We are not able to experience that unobstructed infinite knowledge because of the karmic bondage that we are carrying, because of the body that we have. This body is made up of, elements of the Prakriti, which is kind of, it's like a cover on top of the, it's like an iron box on top of a lamp, let us say. So you can't, that lamp, light from that lamp will not come out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when that iron box is not there, then the light starts coming out and spreads all over.
Right. Yeah. And one more question, sir. Like in
Sure.
the Paramatma word that was mentioned in this slokas, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said this is not the Paramatma, that Bhagavan, right? This is the supreme of Atmas. Is there any, like, how, like, even I'm just curious, like when a person like me, I'm very ignorant, I'm very ajnanam I have, so I don't know. If I am reading myself, I would have thought this Paramatma is Bhagavan, right? So or how else, is there any other way, like, or only because of the help of Guruji or people like you only we know the actual tattvam, like Paramatma means here it is not Bhagavan, but it is like,
Yeah,
that
it is only because of acharyas
okay.
who explain, that's why the 700 sloka, this 700 slokas is like summary of the entire Vedas, right? Upanishads.
Mm-hmm.
So, there, it can't, of course, there's a lot of knowledge in other, other, we can call them as, let us say, books. Okay, nobody printed them, but imagine there are like millions of pages are there, right? But so in order to understand, what this word really means, we need to have understanding of some of the other, the knowledge from the other scriptures,
Okay.
right? That is one. But Lord Krishna is so great that if you really, read these slokas, of course, with Acharya's blessings, right, and God's blessings, if it is there, then we will see the meaning here itself. You don't have to go searching for where in which Veda it is there and things like that. Of course, again, we need Paramatma's blessings and Acharya's blessings to get that. Okay. See, it is not our efforts that is giving us this understanding. You have to remember that. We are only putting our effort. That's all. The result of understanding is provided by Paramatma only. Okay? And if our effort is pure, right? If our love is pure, effort is pure, then Paramatma gracefully gives us that knowledge to us. Okay?
True.
He is the one who is giving us this knowledge. Okay? It may be there in some book. I might not have read it. I don't have to read it. If Paramatma is the one who is giving me this knowledge, I don't have to put my effort in reading all those books. Then what will happen is, then I will start thinking it, I need to read, then only I'll get it. We should come out of that kind of thinking. I am putting my 100% effort. Pray to Paramatma. God, give me the right knowledge. Okay?
Right.
Give me the correct interpretation, right knowledge. And He's the one who is going to give us. Okay? With Acharya's blessings. Now He will give us an Acharya who can give the knowledge to us. Okay? So, and he gracefully gave the meaning here itself, right? So we can, with Paramatma's the energy that he gives to us, trying to understand this. Okay, with that, we will be able to understand that yes, it is only Atma here. It is referring to us. Okay. Now, one thing that we need to let us see one example, right? Paramatma. Okay. Paramatma is the one who is enabling this entire the entire world to function, right?
Mm.
He is the one who is present and giving this entire world support. He is running this entire world. He is the one who is creating and all that.
Mm.
So how can we say that he is not doing? Isn't it?
Mm. Yeah,
See,
but
without his support,
mm.
without he doing anything, will not be here basically, right? So, just giving one. If I say that, Paramatma is Avyaya, right? Okay, Paramatma is not tainted, is okay. But how can we say Paramatma is not doing?
Yeah, I think these are the key factors you should tell us, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I meant to ask. Like, is there any other way that I can figure out, okay, this is not Bhagavan? But
yeah,
when you read the first line, right, this Anaditvam, Nirgunatvam also attributed to Bhagavan. So I think, yeah, when you go to the next lines, that is how we can, I think, differentiate. It is not Bhagavan, I guess.
yeah. Like,
Okay.
one thing we learned in Karma Yoga, we are saying that I am putting only my effort. But it is Paramatma who is making things happen. The result
Right.
belongs to Paramatma,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So how can we say he's not doing anything?
Mm.
If he's not doing anything, why should we attribute anything to him, right?
Right. Yeah.
See, he's doing it, so we attribute it to him. Our body is doing it, we attribute to our body. Okay? We should, myself means the self, Jivatma is not doing, so I should never attribute an action to self.
I mean, what I meant is, like, by this reading subsequent lines, we can say what the Sri Krishna saying, the meaning of Paramatma here is not Bhagavan. So
Yeah.
because of that, yeah, Nakaroti and all that, because that is why it is he's talking about Jivatma, not like Bhagavan.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
and we have more actually. That's a good question.
okay.
There is an explanation given in the later slokas also.
Mm-hmm.
He made it very clear. I mean, he said we are not God, very clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if let us say he's talking about Paramatma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why should I even? Is he saying that? I imagine this is Paramatma only. Let us say,
You
okay,
mean
in this
Bhagavan?
sloka.
Mm-hmm.
Then he already explained about his greatness, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do I have to learn that he's not doing anything? It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, if if I am not doing, it makes sense because that's what he mentioned in Karma Yoga.
Right.
I am doing, these actions are mine, this result belongs to me, the result is occurring only because of my actions. All these things, he said, don't do that, right? So, I'm only putting my effort. That means I'm only, you know, you know, whatever action that I'm trying to do, I'm only putting in my effort. The result, whatever is happening from outside.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So how can, if it is not Paramatma, then who is doing it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He is the one who is supporting the entire thing. He is the one who is protecting. If he's not doing anything, then how can you say he's protecting?
Right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, protection is his duty, isn't it? Narayana is supporting, being inside and being outside. Okay?
Right.
So then we cannot say he's not doing anything, right?
Mm.
He is very clearly indicating this entire chapter is dedicated to Jivatma and body only.
Mm.
Okay, and there are more chapters coming later where he talks about himself. Okay, I mean he clearly differentiates there. He says I am different from the Jivatmas. He will say later.
Mm.
So then it becomes even more clear. Like if he's talking about if it is Paramatma everywhere here, then it is body and Paramatma only. We don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then how can he say I am better than Jivatma later? Right? If Jivatma doesn't even exist,
Mm.
isn't it? I mean, there are some interpretations that came up like that because again, it becomes easy to make people initiate, make them understand. Maybe somebody would have given that. Okay, there's nothing wrong, and like depending on the child, depending on what they can absorb, the teacher may be able to may give some knowledge, right?
Mm.
If somebody is not able to absorb it, maybe there's no point in giving that knowledge. Maybe they simplify it and then say, okay, this is what it is. As long as they're able to act on that knowledge in a proper way, it's okay. Then it's better to go to that level of the student and then give that knowledge. Maybe because of that reason, all these some different interpretations would have come. But the real knowledge that Lord Krishna is giving, directly given in the Bhagavad Gita, is that this entire chapter, Kshetrajna, is only Jivatma, that is us. And we are different from Paramatma.
Mm.
I mean, definitely we are distinct. We are right now, we are covered with the karmic bondage. In our pure self, we are equivalent to Paramatma. All of us are equivalent to each other. Okay? I mean, it is hard to believe that we are equivalent to each other. Right? Because we are always looking, when we see something, we only see the body first, right? So it becomes difficult. When I'm doing something, I think, oh, I am doing it because we associate ourselves with the body. So then I'll say, I am doing it. I want the result. That's it. Over. We got the karmic bondage.
Yeah.
So when that's the most fundamental aspect, like Kshetra and Kshetrajna. That's why this entire, the third Shatkam, which is revising the knowledge that, reviewing, not, reviewing the knowledge that was already presented in the first 12 chapters. All the knowledge was already given in the first 12 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. But Lord Krishna is again classifying, categorizing whatever he said in the previous 12 chapters. Is making it explicit, more detailed, and with some classification. So that, I mean, this is like a now quick summary and direct pointers he is giving. We don't have to search in, is it in second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, fifth chapter, or seventh chapter, ninth chapter. We don't have to search. Is giving the pointers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and we can say that they are supported by the previous chapters. They are on top of, or details on top of previous chapters, right? So I mean, we can. So we will see more. We will see more in the next lokas. No worries.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I mean, we have to think that we are pure. Okay, that is the most important thing, and nothing can happen to us, whether it is karuna or something else. Nothing will happen to us. Okay, that is what is self-realization, right? I mean, we are saying, oh, I want to have self-realization, self-realization. And Lord Krishna is giving that knowledge. we think, no, that's not possible, something like that, and then we say, oh, I'm not getting self-realization. When he clearly saying that you are pure, we are pure basically. We are within this body, we are pure self. But still it is hard to believe for us, so we don't. And so this is a knowledge part, and in order to truly believe in it and really understand and realize ourselves, we need to practice those 20 qualities. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, rajavam. All those 20 qualities, if we start practicing them, then it becomes easy for us to believe in this knowledge, get the knowledge, really. Right?
Yeah, true.
Okay. So 32. Yatha sarvagatam saukshmyat
यथा
यथा
सर्वगतं
सर्वगतं
सौक्ष्म्यात्
सौख्य
akasam nopalipyate
आकाशं
आकाशं
नोपलिप्यते
नवमित्यते
sarvatravasthito dehe
सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे
तथात्मा nopalipyate.
तदात्मानोपलिप्यते
Let's chant together. Yatha
यथा
sarvagatam
सर्वगतं साक्ष्यात्
akasam
आकाशं
palipyate
नोपलिप्यते सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे तदात्मानोपलिप्यते.
So he's probably Lord Krishna realized that we'll be wondering how we are not tainted, even though we are going through so many bodies. How is it even possible that we are not corrupted or smeared by the qualities that are in the body, right? Like when let us say an iron rod is near a magnet, powerful magnet, we keep it for, let's say, 1 minute, maybe the iron rod doesn't change its properties. But if you keep it very close for many, many years, then iron rod becomes magnetic, right? Even though originally it was incapable of having that property or quality. Now, because it is present near the big magnet, it is kind of changed. I mean, it got the magnetic quality. So why is it that the Atma is not tainted? Okay. So Lord Krishna is saying, yatha sarvagatam saukshmyat akasam na upalipyate. So just like the sarvagatam akasam, so all pervading space. Okay, this is very interesting thing, because I went through and did something on the space. Okay, so let us look at that. So akasam na upalipyate, just like how the space is not getting tainted, even though it is present everywhere, all pervading. Okay, like that, tatha. Okay, sarvatra avastitah dehe. So in a body, dehe is in a body. Sarvatra avastitah. So by residing or situated in the body everywhere, Atma na upalipyate. Atma is not getting tainted. Okay. See the word here, Atma. Okay. Now imagine if this was Paramatma, okay, means God. If in the previous sloka, if he was referring to God, because he said Paramatma, then how can he say yatha, just like sarvagatam saukshmyata akasam na upalipyate sarvatra avasthita dehe tatha atma na upalipyate. So it would be incorrect to say, give an example for something else, right? When it is different, like just like an insect can go through a small hole, a car can also go. Can we say that? No, right? So, or we can say, isn't it? I mean, so when he gave a statement earlier that Paramatma is not tainted, okay, and he is giving an example, and he says Atma here, then the previous one also must be Atma only, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, if we can say, oh no, probably this Atma in Shloka 32 is Paramatma, okay, then we would never call God as Atma, isn't it? Typically. I mean, the reason why we thought Paramatma in the previous Shloka is God, because we typically call God as Paramatma only, okay? So, we, when we see Atma, it cannot be Paramatma, based on our understanding, right? So this Atma, so this is equivalent to the previous one. He's talking about Paramatma there because he is saying, comparing the Atma to the Sarira in this sloka. In sloka 31, he is saying Anaditvat, Nirgunatvat, Paramatma. So basically, he's saying this Atma is having a quality that is supreme compared to the Sarira. Sarirastaha api, he's saying. So because of that, he's kind of comparing, when he's comparing, so he put a superlative there, Paramatma. But he's referring to Atma, the Jivatma only there. Okay? And here it is very clear. So he's saying Jivatma only. So here, so Sarvatra avasthitaha dehe, Jivatma is present everywhere in the body. Okay? It is still not tainted. The Atma is not tainted, or Jivatma or Purusha is not tainted. Okay? So now Akasam is everywhere, he's saying. Okay? And he's also saying Akasam is Saukshmyat. Okay? So when he's saying something that is everywhere, Sarvagatam, Sarvatra, he said. Okay? So Sarvatra avasthitaha dehe. So inside the body, it is there everywhere. He didn't say Atma is there everywhere outside. Inside the Deha, he is saying. We have to be very clear, carefully see the words here. So this Atma is present everywhere inside the body. He put a limit there, saying that it is there inside the body. Okay? And yatha akasam, just as akasam is saukshmyat, okay, na upalipyate, tatha atma na upalipyate. That means atma is also saukshmyat, isn't it? Saukshmyat is being very subtle,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So because it is so subtle, Atma is not tainted. Okay, so nothing can penetrate it. I mean, if let us say I have to corrupt something, something has to penetrate it, right? So there is a table in front of me. If I have to put something inside that wood block, right? I have to first enter that block, right? If I beat that block and if I cannot enter it, the block will remain the same, isn't it? So because these two, he's comparing akasa, the space, and atma are so subtle, so minuscule, small, that we can ever think of. No material can penetrate it. No, nothing can penetrate it, basically. So it's so that's why he gave the example that even though the space exists everywhere, because it is small, it is not tainted. And even though Atma is present everywhere, it is not getting tainted. Now, so we so what is this Akasam is so subtle? And just now let us go into physics. Akasam being so subtle. What do you think Akasam is?
Nothing. I mean,
Space.
it's space. Yeah.
So Akasam is space. Where is it?
Everywhere, all around us.
All around us is air. Air is the one of the primary elements, right?
Okay.
So where is Akasam?
Layman in the top, right? You see it there. So
What's it?
Where air cannot reach, maybe at that.
Okay. So yeah, typically this is what we understand, right? Like Akasam means, it is the outer space. I mean, when all around us we have air, and air is a primary one of the 5 elements, right? So Vayu is the primary one of the elements of the Panchabhutas. So then it is Vayu or air is around us, then space is not there, because you cannot have both at the same. Everything around us is a combination. That we'll learn that later, right? But typically when we see there is air, that means space must be outer space only. That's what we think. So Lord Krishna is clearly saying Akasam is so subtle that and it is Sarvagatam. That means it must be there everywhere, inside us and outside us also. Okay, not just the outer space or sky. Typically, Akasam in other languages it's translated as sky, right? Akasam. So this Akasam is there everywhere, and it is so subtle. How can we say Akasam is one of the biggest one, right?
It's one of the Panchabhutas, right?
Yeah.
That is the reason why
So if you take any material, it is a combination of these 5 elements.
Yeah.
Okay, in different proportions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think there is nothing that is pure, like you can get one element by itself. You cannot. every element, every particle that you take, it is a combination of all the 5 elements. You can't separate it out. So that means every every particle of this material nature is made up of these 5 elements, isn't it? So then there must be space inside that. It is not just space between 2 objects outside. So then that means when within the object there is no space. Then whatever Lord Krishna is saying here, that Sarvagatam Akasham and Sarvagatam Saukshmat Akasham will not, maybe it will become inconsistent, right? So there is Akasham in every particle, and it is so subtle, it is so small, Saukshmat, because it is so subtle, he is saying. Okay, so what is that? I was just trying to see, like if you take an atom consists of nucleus and around that electrons, right? Electron spinning. That's what we learned initially when we were studying. So there is a lot of empty space around the nucleus, because there are only few electrons that are rotating in their orbits around the nucleus. So there must be a lot of empty space. Okay. So that empty space must be, it must be bigger than the nucleus and bigger than the electrons, obviously, because there's so much empty space around the nucleus, so it must be bigger. It is not talking about that. It is and if you go into the details, basically, when we look at an atom, these electrons are rotating so fast around the nucleus that we would see them as a cloud. We won't see any empty space anywhere in the atom. Latest developments, when they looked in at the atom level, they see some low density cloud around a high density center. That's it. We don't see any empty space. So when we say we don't see empty space, does it mean there is no empty space? No, right? There is actually space between them. And so it is not that empty space means lack of something. It is the presence of the empty space. That is where the difference is. So if you see in outer space, right? When we go into the outer space, okay. Earlier the understanding was there is nothing in the outer space. When we go into the outer space after the Earth, people thought there is nothing. But what they found actually is it is made up of a type of matter that exists all over in the outer space. Okay, so it is not the empty space, it is the presence of that matter that corresponds to that empty space is the actual the fifth element actually. That is Akasam, and that presence of that is there all over this entire universe, not just in the outer space. Okay. So it is, maybe some kind of a energy force, something that is keeping the things together, something that is making the planets move farther apart. That's what they actually, the reason why they came up with that conclusion that there is some matter outside is that they found that the planets are moving apart, away from each other. Not planets, the universe, all the systems, solar systems are moving away from each other at a faster pace that is then there must be some energy that is pushing them apart. That energy is actually the one that is there in that empty space. So there is, you can't have empty space and having an energy. So they said there must be a matter that is pushing them. So thing is that we cannot see it. So neither can we see the empty space, the space within an atom, okay, which is, present in the atom, present between the atoms, okay, nor we can see this empty space out in the outer space, that fifth element, the akasam. So because it is so subtle. I mean, when Lord Krishna mentioned this, all this new developments are not there, right? And people, billions and trillions of dollars spending, a lot of effort spent in trying to come up with that theory. But the entire theory Lord Krishna gave many years back, and it must be there. It's not Lord Krishna saying the things in Bhagavad Gita for the first time. It must be there in other Puranas and other scriptures as well, isn't it? So our scriptures actually have the knowledge embedded in them, which can explain the nature, how the universe is created, how the universe is expanding, what is the relationship between the planets, different, everything must be there. Just this particular sloka kind of gives us a hint. I mean, trying to correlate it with the understanding that we have today, we can clearly see that there is a correlation. Whatever knowledge that we have even today, we cannot explain things. They are only guessing that there must be some matter in the outer space, but we don't know what it is, right? So I just want to compare, and the kind of knowledge that is embedded in Bhagavad Gita is just amazing. And also in our scriptures, because Bhagavad Gita, obviously Lord Krishna mentioned that he gave this knowledge first to at the beginning of time, right? He gave this knowledge to sun and all that, right? So this knowledge is embedded within our scriptures.
So like Krishna explained, right? This space or akasham or emptiness is everywhere. Also, it's within Atma, Jivatma.
No. Simple reason.
Okay.
Atma is not made of the 5 elements of Prakriti.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Again, I thought maybe I didn't understand basics. Okay.
We are different from Prakriti.
Right. Yeah.
So nothing can penetrate us. We don't have any components. Okay, it's one single entity with the energy that Paramatma is giving.
But he's saying it's everywhere.
So this particular Akasam is the one of the Panchabhutas. Yeah.
Right.
And that is there everywhere.
But not within Jivatma. Because it's not made of Panchabhutas.
No. See, basically, it is hard for us to imagine.
Right.
How can Atma be not tainted? So we know Atma is so sukshma, it is so subtle.
Right.
So what is that which we can understand? We can see, understand, perceive the Panchabhutas, Prakriti, right?
Right.
So giving an example from Prakriti, if he says, the earth is not tainted, or water is not tainted, fire is not tainted, we can say, no, that's not correct, right? But this Akasham is the one that is subtle, that is present in every particle of this nature. We cannot even detect it. Okay, it is. Imagine that it is like the say magnetic field, let us say, we can't see it, we cannot perceive it, or some force we cannot see, perceive, right? Okay,
So
we can
there
see
is
the
something.
effect. We can see
Yeah.
the effect when, right? But we cannot see it. That's the problem that they are facing in the outer space. They know that there is something there, but they cannot detect anything.
Yeah.
Okay, but they are able to do some calculations and come up saying that some 65% of the entire universe is that only, something like that. So we are not able to see if something is not subtle, not so small, then we can detect it.
Right.
It is so small, then we cannot detect.
Hmm.
Same way, like when electrons are rotating around the nucleus, okay, we see it as a cloud. That means what? We are not able to detect the gap between the two electrons ever. Because why? Because it's so subtle, so small, right? If if we are able to see an electron, okay, let us imagine, if we are able to see an electron, but we are not able to see the gap between two electrons, then what happens? We cannot see an electron. We see a bunch of electrons. We can see an electron as an individual element, an individual particle, only if our instruments can see the gap between two electrons. As long as we cannot see the gap between two electrons, we will see them as together. Isn't it?
Right.
If there are two trees together, okay, the gap between them cannot be even detected by a microscope, let us say. Then when you see from outside, it will appear like it's only one tree.
One tree, yeah.
Isn't it? So that is the gap, that is the akasam between the two. So we will not be able to detect, we are not able to detect that. Same way Atma, it is so subtle, it is nothing can penetrate it, nothing can corrupt it. Okay.
But there is something in that nothingness.
Yeah, for the Panchabhutas,
yeah,
it is there, it's guaranteed, but we are not able to detect it. Okay, see, it's guaranteed that there is empty space in the atom, guaranteed. Okay, because if there is no empty space, then nothing can penetrate an atom. We know that some things can penetrate atom. Okay, so there is empty space, but we are not able to see that. Okay, so I mean, the Atma is even subtler than that. Now you can imagine. Atma is the subtlest of the subtle, because even Atma can enter even that gap also. Atma is there everywhere, including that gap in our body. So in our body, there must be some Akasham also. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So Atma is there in that Akasham also. That means what? Akasham can enter that subtle space. Sorry, Atma can enter that subtle space. That means who is smaller?
Yeah, Atma.
Atma, right? So Atma is even subtler than the Akasam. So that means we will never be able to. If Akasam cannot be tainted, then how can the Atma be tainted? Got it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is not a straightforward question, right? I don't know, I should be asking it too, right? But again, if you lose your loved ones, let's say, for example, right, and then the Atma will leave the body, and then it's not taken any form again, right? I know we always say Atma can exist in everything and anything, right? But again, that Atma, it's neither gotten moksha, but there's no real destination for that, right? Not yet, right? Because
Mhm.
it's designated somewhere. But so we're saying that Atma might be around us here, and then Atma can feel it, but we cannot feel it because our human, I mean, we kind of, when we identify by our body, we cannot sensitize that, right? Meaning we cannot see that or cannot feel that,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
again, it's a question, and again, I'm trying to ask
yeah.
my own
So
question.
let me answer. Let me answer. So, if I understood your question correctly, so it is like mm, uh, we go to movie theater, but the theater doors are closed, so we are just roaming outside. Okay, we are not inside the movie theater, and we are not in our home. We are just roaming outside, trying to find when the doors will be open. Okay, that's what you're. I mean, see the when you said Atma left the body, but it has not got something else yet, and then it must be roaming somewhere, right?
Right.
Uh, Nothing like that. It is not. I mean, God's creation is not imperfect like that. Okay, so when Atma leaves the body, God inside Atma takes it wherever it is supposed to go. Nothing will be indeterministic. Nothing will be left to the Atma, saying Atma will get freedom to do whatever it wants. Atma will not have freedom at all. Never. Okay? And it is not like, God doesn't know what to do. Atma doesn't know what to do and just roams around. There won't be a situation like that ever.
Mhm.
The system is so perfect that the Atma will be taken. It's not like Atma knows where to go. No. Atma doesn't decide by itself. It's the energy that Paramatma gives, or Paramatma inside Atma, will identify the destination where it is supposed to go, and it will go there. Okay, so I mean, just like our body doesn't decide by itself, right? Then dead bodies also can travel, right? So there is something inside the body that is supporting, then the body can move. Same way, Atma is supported by Paramatma, and Paramatma is the one who will take it to wherever it is supposed to go. And there is some deterministic destination for it. It is not indeterministic.
Yeah, very, very well said, sir. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it goes back to the same thing what you said, right? I mean, every chapter Krishna has been saying this. Your soul belongs to me, right, Arjuna? And
Yeah.
no matter what we have, he has a plan for everybody. And even when we leave the body, he has a plan, determined plan. Thank you. It's
So
very, very
basically,
nice.
we have I mean, it's not like we are born today, right? I mean, in this particular
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
We are coming, so millions of records are existing with us. So already it is decided where we are supposed to go and all that. Okay. So it is not like somebody will start, processing the application once Atma leaves the body, and the application process will take 10 days, and the Atma will be roaming around for 10 days for nothing to do and not knowing where to go. And it's not like Atma can feel the things, and it cannot feel. I mean, it's not like, it starts crying and all that. No. I mean, it's,
So even in case of the accidental death, right, within a fraction of a second they'll die, right?
mhm,
Like this, they're gone, right?
mhm.
Head-on accident. So even then, they will have a immediate transition plan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody is taking the Atma outside the body. So, so it's already taken care, right? It's not like Atma leaves the body by itself and then somebody has to pick up. No. Somebody is taking the Atma from the body at that moment. And it's already under that person, whatever, like imagine that is a person. It's under the person's control already. So if that person decides not to take the Atma, then it stays in the body only.
Right. Makes sense.
So, it will, of course, unfortunately, it will suffer. And if it is written to suffer, that's what will happen.
Makes sense. Thank you, sir.
Sure. So, okay, so that is 32. Any other questions on 32? So in this particular sloka, we are knowing that the Atma is subtle and imperceivable, like the Akasam. And even subtler than Akasam, so obviously it must be even more imperceivable. Okay, and it is present everywhere in the body. Okay, now we'll go to 33. यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
यथा
यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः
कृत्स्नं
कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नं
क्षेत्रं
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रे तथा कृत्स्नं
प्रकाशयति भारत.
प्रकाशयति भारत
Let's chant together. यथा
यथा प्रकाशयत्येकः
कृत्स्नं
कृत्स्नं लोकमिमं रविः
क्षेत्रं
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तदा कृत्स्नं प्रकाशयति भारत.
Okay. So Lord Krishna is giving another example. Now, see, in the previous sloka, one might have got a question. Sarvatra avastitah dehe, right? I mean, how can an Atma so subtle can exist everywhere, right? We might get a question like that. See, this is where, Lord Krishna, we don't have to go to other, not necessary to go to other books. Lord Krishna, as much as possible, answered everything here itself. Okay, so he gave some examples, very simple examples. Of course, there's no equivalent to equivalent to Atma. But in order for us to understand, there's no equivalent to Atma means you cannot compare Atma to something that is in Prakriti. Okay, because too different. But because we are knowledgeable or aware of Prakriti, we can imagine, if something is in Prakriti like this, then, and using the analogy, we can, imagine how the Atma is. Because we'll never be able to see Atma forever. See in the sense with our eyes, measure it. We cannot do that. We'll never be able to do it. We can only perceive it through knowledge only. Okay, but how to explain that? If I need to practice all those 20 qualities, and then I need to do a lot of things before I can realize Atma. But how do you explain how it will be? We have to give simple examples only. So Lord Krishna is giving the example, but of course at the same time those examples cannot be contradicting the knowledge. Right. So here in this particular um, sloka, again he is giving the example. Yatha prakasayati ekaha krutsnam lokam imam ravihi. Okay, so just like Ravihi, the sun, ekaha Ravihi, one sun, lokam imam krutsnam prakasayati. So Krishnam Lokam Imam Prakasayati. So basically, this entire universe, not universe, Loka, is using the word Loka, right? Loka comes in many places. Loka refers to the world, Loka refers to what we see, Loka refers to people, different places, different contexts. Here he is talking about sun, Prakasayati is illuminating or shining, is shining the entire world wherever, whatever we see here right now, right? So just like how one sun is able to illuminate this entire or whole world, okay, yatha prakasayati ekaha krishnam lokam imam ravihi, tatha, same way or similarly, kshetri. So Kshetrajna, Kshetri, the one that who is in Kshetra, that is Krutsnam Prakasayati Kshetram. Or, so it is illuminating, that Kshetri is illuminating this whole Kshetram. Krutsnam Kshetram, his whole body. So just like how Ravi or the sun is illuminating this whole world, by being only one, present in one place, it is able to illuminate the entire world. Same way, Kshetri, the Kshetrajna or Jivatma, is able to Prakashayati, illuminate Krutsnam Kshetram, the whole body. Okay, so it doesn't have to be like, this body consists of billions of kshetrajnas in order to illuminate. So again, prakasayati here is making it function, making it shine. Making it shine means you can imagine, right? When somebody is living, the body is function. Okay, so that is what the prakasayati here means. So by being one kshetri, it is able to make the entire body function by being only in one place. Okay. And, any questions on this? This one also clearly states what this kshetri is. Is it Bhagavan or is it Jivatma? Okay. The direct meaning itself, any questions on that? No questions. Is it? It's very clear. Just like sun is illuminating, or Atma is the one that is responsible for um, making all parts of the body function just by being. So where is this kshetrajna inside our body?
It's everywhere in the body.
It is sarvatra. It is spreading, all pervading in the body, but it is pervading through the knowledge. Okay, so just like how the sun being present in one place can radiate through the entire solar system, right? So that radiation can reach wherever it is. It is reaching our earth, and then we are able to see the light and get the heat and all that. So just like that, by being present in one place, this Atma is able to pervade this entire body through its knowledge. Okay, so it is like the knowledge is just like when you in a dark room, when you light a candle, right? The light that is emanating from that candle is spreading this throughout the entire room, right? The candle is not moving. Like you see the candle with the light, but when the candle is lit, okay, but the entire room is getting illuminated because the light from that lamp is making the darkness go away in the entire room, wherever that light is reaching inside the room. Same way, when the Atma is there in the body, the Jivatma in the body is reaching all parts of the body, okay? Krutsnam Kshetram, the whole body, okay, is it is illuminating. That's all he said, illuminating. We have to understand it is not like light, right? I mean, in case of sun, it is illumination through, it is making the entire, entire world shine through its light and heat. Okay, for us, it is the knowledge that is reaching all parts of the body that is making the body function.
I mean, I know in one of the slokas we touched, I think we have Atma in every part of the body. So it's not referring to the Atma. I mean,
so in the previous sloka, in Hrudi Sarvasya Vishtitam, right? So that is, he clearly mentioned Kshetrajna is in the heart region of the body, 13:17. Okay, when he was talking about the Kshetrajna, right? He clearly mentioned that it is present or situated or residing in the heart region of the body.
heart region, hearts of the body.
I mean, it cannot be multiple. First thing, right?
No, understand.
So I mean, we have to differentiate this Atma, which is the one that is making the body function. When it leaves the body is dead. Okay, I'm not talking about the other Atmas that are in the body all over the body that are like subordinates to the primary Atma. Okay, so we are not those Atmas. Okay, there are Atmas all over this entire universe. I mean, so many years back, I got a question that somebody will take birth as a human only when they do good activities, right? Human birth is a higher level birth. Okay, not like an insect or a bird.
Yeah.
So every day the population is increasing, isn't it? Then there must be more people doing good than bad, right?
Yeah.
That's a question I got. I mean, then how is that? I mean, how is that increasing? I only thought that there is one Atma in one body. Okay. First of all, we think Atmas are only in a human being. That is, we got correct.
Yeah, we got over
Atma is there in all. Atmas are there in all bodies. And then we know that multiple Atmas are there in each body. Okay. It is every body part is functioning because of an Atma being present in those parts of the body that is working on the command given by the
Main Atma. Main Atma.
right, primary Atma.
Yeah, primary.
So when the primary Atma leaves, this Atma will be there for some time. It will function for some time, but it will also leave because it cannot function anymore. It gets disintegrated. Then so it is. I mean, we can go into details, but basically, we have atmas all over the body, all bodies, and where there is a primary atma in each body that is responsible for body to shine, for the body to function. Okay, and when that primary atma leaves, the jivatma leaves, then that's why we say jivatma in order to differentiate that from other atmas. So when that jivatma leaves, then the body stops functioning. Okay, so one recent example is that coronavirus, right? Coronavirus, when it enters the body, it's still functioning. It must be having an atma on its own, and it is still functioning within the body. And basically, it is not listening to the main atma, and that's where the problem is. All the cancers are like that. They're not listening. They're not under the control anymore. So then Atma says, okay, I quit. I don't want to be in this body anymore. Nobody's listening to me. I want to quit. Okay. So then it leaves. I mean, just in a lighter way, I'm saying. So then, so this Atma being one, it is able to spread throughout the body. It's not like it's only in the heart region and the rest of the body is functioning on its own. No, everything is under the control of the primary Atma only. That's why it is called Paramatma. It is everything is under the control of that. Okay, I mean under the support, not need not be control, under the support. Okay, and if that primary Atma is not there, then the support goes away. Support for all parts of the body go away. Then the body starts disintegrating. Okay, so yeah, so it is there in the heart regions. There's only one. Okay. Now this kshetri, if I mean, let us say here what he's talking about is an example for Paramatma, let us assume. Because all these examples he's giving in order to support the previous slokas, right? So if the previous slokas are referring to God, then does this example make sense? Will this example make sense? We'll see. Okay. So if this kshetri is God, okay, and we know that this from the 17th sloka we said that kshetrajna is there in the heart region, right? And from there it is pervading everywhere. Okay. Then so then it must be necessary for God to exist in the heart region of everyone and illuminate, right? Let us go through this. This is a little bit complicated. So let us assume for a moment that the following interpretation is true. One sun is illuminating the whole world or universe. So there must be a single self illuminating all bodies, right? Because he gave example that one sun is ekaha ravihi prakasayati imam lokam kritsnam. Okay, so one sun is illuminating the whole body, whole world, and he's saying just like that, Kshetri is also illuminating the body. So okay, so then like sun, the single self must be able to illuminate each body without physically residing in each body, right? Like the sun is illuminating the whole world. One sun is illuminating the whole world. Okay, then one God must be able to illuminate without being physically present in each body. That's what the example. If we understand that the Kshetri is God, then it is that one God illuminating all bodies without being present in each body, right? Okay, then it would not match with what Lord Krishna said in Sloka 17. Now, in that he said, Kshetrajna exists in each Hrudi Sarvishta Vishtitam, Sarvasya Vishtitam. So, it is Kshetrajna is present in the heart region of all bodies. Okay, so if Kshetrajna is great like sun, and it is one illuminating all bodies, okay, then it is not necessary for Kshetrajna to reside in the heart region of all beings and pervade from there. So the interpretation that there is a single Kshetrajna illuminating all bodies is not supported by Lord Krishna, right? And we also know that sun is illuminating, one sun is illuminating the whole world, is limited to the sun that is existing in that world. One sun is not illuminating the entire universe. It's only illuminating this part of the world, right? Imagine there are lots of stars in the sky, lots of stars in this universe, which are illuminating wherever whichever part they are in. Now, so that also says that again there are multiple. Because God can only be one, whatever example he is giving cannot be God. It is for Kshetrajna, which is Jivatma. Isn't it? And Jivatmas are multiple. And Jivatmas are present inside the body, just like a sun inside this world, this solar system is illuminating this solar system. Or even if we consider the Ravi here refers to a group of illuminating objects like suns, still that is limited to this Brahmanda only. There are, God is Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka. Like this, what we are having, this Brahmanda, under the control of this Brahma, there are millions like that. Okay? So one sun cannot eliminate the other worlds. This sun belongs to this world under the control of this Brahma. So so again, that also proves that these slokas are only talking about Jivatma, not the Paramatma, that is God. Okay, so wherever Paramatma, Ishvara, and all Parameshwara, all these references are there inside this chapter, they only refer to Jivatma, only us. It is us, not God. So any questions? This was a little complicated. I mean, just to prove that, it is Jivatmas that Lord Krishna is talking about this entire chapter. The qualities that he is talking about for Atma very closely match with Paramatma only. I mean, he is Anadi, we are Anadi. He is not having qualities of Prakriti, we are not having qualities of Prakriti. All this, it seems to match, right? He is great, we are great. So, and that's why some confusion may come, and interpretation thought, or somebody thought, okay, okay, this talking about God. We should know that this is only us, and this is what we are trying to realize. If this is God, then where is self-realization? I mean, there is more research that was done to prove that all these slokas refer to Jivatmas only. I am not presenting all that, but simple, just at a very high level itself, it would not be logical to conclude that this is God, and I'm just trying to present. Of course, we have other quotations from other, Upanishads and other Brahma Sutras, which prove very clearly that whatever Lord Krishna is talking here is only Jivatmas, not Paramatma. So each Kshetrajna, okay, we, right, self, resides in the heart region of every being. Though it is very subtle, it pervades the whole body that it resides in, and it illuminates the whole body with the knowledge. So this is a link between the slokas. It will make it very clear. So we are subtle, but we still pervade through the entire body, just like sun's, illumination, sun's radiation is illuminating this entire world. And just like sun is limited to this particular part of the universe, right? So same way we are also limited. Just like Akasham is not perceivable, okay, not tainted, we are not tainted. So he's giving those examples of Akasa, the space, and the subtle space, not the outer space that we see, the subtlest of subtle space that we see that is spreading the entire universe. We are even subtler than that, so we are imperceivable, and also we are not tainted because nothing can penetrate us. And we are illuminating this body only. As long as we exist in this body, we are illuminating only this body. Okay. Even though we are so subtle and staying or residing in one place near the heart region. Is this clear?
Yes, Andy. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
One more sloka, that will close. Is it okay when we are over by 5 minutes?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
sure.
is the last one, which will conclude 13th chapter, great chapter. Okay, 34. Kshetra kshetrajnayorevam
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम्
antaram jnanachakshusha
Antaram
अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा
bhuta prakriti moksham cha
भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं
भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं
च
च
ye vidur yanti te param.
ये
ये
विदुर्यान्ति ते
यान्ति ते
परम्
परम्
Let's chant together. Kshetra
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा
bhuta
भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च
ye
ये विदुर्यान्ति ते परम्.
So Lord Krishna is concluding that. So he gave all the knowledge about Kshetrajna, and how to get the knowledge of Kshetrajna. I mean, how to realize Kshetrajna in us. We are Kshetrajna, not in this body, basically. So how do we realize, when we will realize? So he gave this entire knowledge. So kshetra kshetrajnayorevam antaram jnana chakshusha. So ye viduhu, so whoever knows, okay, kshetra kshetrajnayoh evam antaram. So whoever knows this difference or distinction between kshetra and kshetrajna. Okay, so the differences, so basically this is the most fundamental aspect. We should not be thinking I am kshetra. Okay, so whoever, and we should know the what is kshetra and what is kshetrajna. Okay, whoever knows that. How do we know that? Like, are we able to see with our eyes? The eyes that we have? No. Jnana chakshusha. So with the vision of knowledge only. Okay. So this is very important. With the knowledge we can see. We will never be able to invent a microscope or something to see Atma. Okay. So that's why the knowledge is very important. Okay. So know the differences, distinction between these two, kshetra and kshetrajna, with that knowledge. And bhuta prakriti moksham. Bhuta prakriti moksham. So how do we get the liberation? Moksham is liberation and deliverance from bhuta prakriti, from this prakriti, right? From this prakriti, how do we get the liberation? Okay, basically prakriti, which is formed as manifested as bodies, different bodies, right? So one is to know the difference between kshetra and kshetrajna, and the second is to know the means to get the release from this prakriti. Whoever knows that will yantite param. So they will attain. Param here refers to the Atma in its pure form. Okay, unobstructed, unhampered, infinitely expanded nature of knowledge. So we will know clearly who we are. I mean, we will get the self-realization, basically. Okay, the pure self. Okay, so what are the things that we need to know? We need to know who we are and who we are not. We are kshetrajna and we are not kshetra. What is our true nature and what is our nature while we are here? What is the nature of kshetrajna? We learned in this chapter. And we are limited by this body, right? And then why are we here? We learned that. What is our goal here? So why are we here is because of the guna sangaha, right? And then we are taking birth, and we are experiencing the karmic bondage, results of the karmic bondage. What is our goal? Our goal is to be liberated from this cycle of births and deaths. That will happen when we are able to realize our pure self. Of course, we cannot do it by ourselves. We need Paramatma's blessings for that. So we will come to that in future chapters. Previous chapters we covered. Will come again later also. And what should I do to achieve this goal? Is Lord Krishna gave us the qualities that we need to acquire and practice. We just have to know them and practice them. So when we do that, we are in the right direction to achieve our goal, and we will come out of this particular body, set of bodies that we are taking. Will come out of those the cycle of births and deaths, and we will realize our pure self without any obstructions. Okay, so that concludes 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga.
Yeah, we will go through the recording one more time. So next time maybe we will have more questions. Interesting though. Akasam is minuscule. I mean, that's concept.
Yeah,
Usually the space, we always think it's like,
huge, right?
yeah, huge.
Everything that we see in the outer space is what we call as a single term, single unit of Akasha. No, it is so subtle that it's again, it's all those, imagine they are like a matter, right? Akasam particles, let us. It's not particle that we can see. That's what Lord Krishna mentioned, and also that is our observation also, right? So it's something that we cannot perceive. That one is so subtle, but it is connected to each other, so it becomes huge. Just like a water particle connected to each other becomes an ocean, right? But ocean is not one water.
Right, yeah.
It's just a set of water particles connected to each other. Ocean also has other things, other elements, but water is in the higher proportion, so that's why we see it as water. Yeah, so having the understanding that we are Kshetrajna, we are Jivatma, we are distinct from Paramatma, and why are we here? That is the key for this entire chapter and also for our progress. If you don't understand that part, that's what he is very clearly saying. If you don't know that, if you don't have this knowledge of Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and the difference between Kshetra and Kshetrajna, um, you know, and we don't know what are the means to deliverance, then we will never be able to achieve self-realization. First is to know, then practice will come later, right? If we don't know, then practice also will not be there. So that's a problem. So just because we know that it will automatically give us moksha, no. There is a next step is to practice. Next step is to know that our practices, our efforts will not give us the result, because that's what Lord Krishna mentioned very clearly. Our efforts alone doesn't give the results. It is Paramatma's blessings that gives us the result, and it belongs to him. So once we have that knowledge, we will stop associating our efforts to the results, and then we will be on the path to get the moksha. Okay. Any other questions? No.
Not.
Badrigar, any questions?
No, thank you. No, thank you very much, actually. No.
Thank you, Andy.
Actually, I have a question for Usha. Usha, is today your birthday? Oh, she dropped.
I think she's there. No, she's there. She's on mute, I think.
Okay. I'll conclude and then we can continue. We'll conclude with the prayer. Kayena vacha
Kayena vacha
manasya
buddhyattamaeva vasute svabhava.
Karopejyasakalam
Narayanaayeti
Yeti
samarpayami.
samarpayami.
Srimad Narayanaayeti
Narayanaayeti
samarpayami.
samarpayami.
Sarvam Sri
Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu.
Om
Jai Shri
Namaha. Jai Shri
Madhurubhyo Namah.
Jai Sriman Narayana.
Thank you very much,
Jai Shri